just dramatic, but just at the end when she says, "You're meant to go to Goloka Vrindavan," I was just like, "Wow!" And she sent that message to the whole group.
Try.
It wasn't to me, but it was addressed to me. And I just thought, wow, she just said in front of everyone, she just said that I'm supposed to go to Goloka Vrindavan.
I really like the point that even though someone goes to Vaikuntha and then they will not
It,
understand and they'll just chant
it
Hare
won't be
Krishna.
comfortable there, yeah.
Yeah. So one will
Yeah.
reach the eternal position eventually.
Something will
Okay.
feel off. Like
Yeah.
and you had mentioned the importance of Gayatri initiation in reaching the spiritual world. And she mentioned that.
Yeah.
The Gayatri, that is very much a part of understanding where we are meant to be. So
Definitely.
that reinforce I was thinking about how that reinforced the point you were making.
Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Krishna. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We are on verse number, sorry.
23.
Okay. I'll not
We just
share my
finished.
screen today. Um, let's see if it crashes or not. Second, I'm just
Okay.
there. Okay. Jai Shila Gurudev, Jai Shila Prabhupada. Oh, it doesn't show my face. Why is that? Strange. It's showing your face if I'm not sharing the screen. That is strange. Okay, no problem. Shivapad, Hare Krishna. Translation. O Rishikesha, master of the senses, of Lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious King Kamsa, and me and my children from a serious series of constant dangers. Devaki, the mother of Krishna and sister of King Kamsa, was put into prison along with her husband Vasudev because of Vasudeva, because of the envious king, was afraid of being killed by Devaki's eighth son, Krishna. He killed all the sons of Devaki who were born before Krishna, but Krishna escaped the danger of child slaughter because he was transferred to the house of Nanda Maharaj. Lord Krishna's foster father, Kunti Devi, along with her children, was also saved from a series of dangers. But Kunti Devi was shown far more favor because Lord Krishna did not save the other children of Devaki, whereas he saved the children of Kunti Devi. This was done because Devaki's husband Vasudev was living, whereas Kunti Devi was a widow, and there was none to help her except Krishna. The conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in great danger. Okay. Sometimes he puts his pure devotee in such dangers because in that condition of helplessness, the devotee becomes more attached to the Lord. The more the attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there for the devotee. Would you like to read the shlokas?
Okay, we did the five famous ones.
Okay, sure. Text 24. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poison cake, from great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exiles in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama, Srila Prabhupada's purport. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted herein. Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother. Otherwise, she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were they were put into trouble by Duryodhana and his party due to the kingdom. And each and every time the sons of Kunti Devi were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered administered poison in a cake. Once they were put into the house made of shellac and set afire. And once Draupadi was dragged out and attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with the man-eater demon Hidimba Rakshasa, but the Lord saved him. Okay. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there were great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had met such great personalities like Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. And at last, even when everything was done away, there was a Brahmastra released by the son of the Dronacharya to kill this child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved the only surviving descendant of Kuru's Maharaj Parikshit. Verse 25. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated birth and deaths. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Generally, the distressed, the needy, the intelligent, and the inquisitive who have performed some serious pious activities worship or begin to worship the Lord. Others who are thriving on misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusory energy. Therefore, a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nescience, one can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by hoofs of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord, and they have nothing to do with a place where danger is every step. This material world is certified by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place of calamities. Less intelligent persons prepare plans to adjust to those calamities without knowing that the nature of this place is itself full of calamities. They have no information of the abode of the Lord, which is full of bliss and without the trace of calamity. The duty of a sane person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortune, one should make progress in spiritual realization because that is the mission of life. The duty of the sane person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Okay. The spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, so-called calamities are called false. A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger and there is no suffering. In this case, it is a simple case, it is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional services is always forward step on the path of going back to Godhead. Okay, very nice. Text 26. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. Akinchana, right? Think Akinchana sloka? Yeah, Akinchana Vashra. One who is on the path of the material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable percentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family, possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as an advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all the material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are capable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly. O Govinda, O Krishna, it is said that in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but is incapable of uttering the holy name in quality. Therefore, four principles of material advancement, namely high percentage, good wealth, high education, attractive beauty, are, so to speak, disqualifications for the path of spiritual advancement. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature as much as fever is external feature of the unhealthy body. The general process is to decrease the degree of the fever and do not uh, aggravate it by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no this is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign as much as the falling of temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. Text 27. My obeisances are unto you, who are the properly who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monists. Srila Prabhupada's purport. A living being is finished as soon as there is nothing to possess. Therefore, a living being cannot be, in this real sense of the term, a renouncer. A living being renounces something for gaining something more valuable. A student sacrifices childish productivities to gain better education. A servant gives up his job for a better job. Similarly, a devotee renounces the material world not for nothing but for something tangible and spiritual value. Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and others gave up their worldly pomp and prosperity for the sake of the service of the Lord. They were big men in the worldly sense. The Goswamis were ministers in the government service of Bengal, and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was son of big zamindar of his time. But they left everything to gain something superior to what they previously possessed. The devotees are generally without material prosperity, but they have a secret treasure house in the lotus feet of the Lord. This is a nice story about Srila Sanatana Goswami. He had a touchstone, and this touchstone was left in a pile of refuse. A needy man took it, but later on wondered why the valuable stone was kept in such a neglected place. He therefore asked Sanatana for the most valuable thing, and then he was given the holy name of the Lord. Akinchana means one who has nothing to give materially. A factual devotee or Mahatma does not give anything material to anyone because he has already left all material assets. He can, however, deliver the supreme asset, the personality of Godhead, because he is the only property of a factual devotee. The touchstone of Sanatan Goswami, which was thrown in the rubbish, was not the property of Goswami, otherwise, it would not have been kept in such a place. The specific example is given for the neophyte devotee just to convince them that material hankering and spiritual advancement go ill together. Unless one is able to see everything as spiritual in relation with the Supreme Lord, one must always distinguish between spirit and matter. Okay. A spiritual master like Srila Sanatan Goswami, although personally able to see everything as spiritual, set this example for only because we have no such spiritual vision. Advancement of material vision or material civilization is a great stumbling block for spiritual advancement. Such material advancement entangles the living being in the bondage of the material body, followed by all sorts of material miseries. Such material advancements called anratha anartha, sorry, anartha, or things not wanted. Actually, this is so in the present context that material advancement one uses lipstick at cost of 50 cents, and there are so many unwanted things which are all products of the material conception of life. By diverting attention to so many unwanted things, human energy is spoiled without achievement of spiritual realization, the prime necessity of human life. The attempt to reach the moon is another example of spoiling energy, because even if the moon is reached, the problems will not be solved. The devotees of the Lord are called Akinchanas because they have practically no material assets. Such material assets are all products of the three modes of material nature. They foil spiritual energy, and thus the less we possess such products of material nature, the more we have good chance for spiritual progress. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no direct connection with material activities. All his acts and deeds, which are exhibited even in the material world, are spiritual and without affection for the modes of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that all his acts, even his disappearance and appearance in and out of the material world, are transcendental. And one who knows this perfectly shall not take his birth again in the material world, but will go back to Godhead. The material disease is due to hankering after and lording it over material nature. The hankering is due to an interaction of the three modes of nature, and neither the Lord nor the devotees have attachment for such false enjoyment. Therefore, the Lord and the devotees are called Nivritta Gunavritti. The perfect Nivritta Gunavritti is the Supreme Lord because he never the perfect Nirvitta Gunavritti is the Supreme Lord because he never becomes attracted by the modes of material nature, whereas the living beings have such tendency. Some of them are entrapped by illusory attraction of material nature. Because the Lord is the property of the uh, one second. Because the Lord is the property of the devotees, and the devotees are the properties of the Lord reciprocally. The devotees are certainly transcendental to the modes of material nature. This is a natural conclusion. Such unallied devotees are distinct from the mixed devotees who approach the Lord for mitigation of miseries or poverty, or because of inquisitiveness and speculation. The unalloyed devotees and the Lord are transcendently attached to one another. For others, the Lord has nothing to reciprocate, and therefore he is called Atmarama, self-satisfied. Self-satisfied as he is the master of all monists who seek to merge into the existence of the Lord. Such monists merge within the personal effulgence of the Lord, called the Brahma Jyoti. But all devotees enter into the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which are never to be misunderstood as material. Please take from
I think it's my turn. That was wow. Hare Krishna. Oh no, I just adjusted it and it changed. 28, right? My lord, I consider your lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller without beginning or end, and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Prabhupada's purport. Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her paternal house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as the Supersoul, Paramatma. Another name of the Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. Eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by him. It's no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. We may forget the misdeed for which we may suffer at this present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion, and therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. And because the Paramatma feature of Lord Krishna destines all actions and reactions, he is the supreme controller also. Without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse their freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Others who misuse freedom are put into miseries destined by the eternal Kala. The Kala offers the conditioned souls both happiness and miseries. It is all predestined by eternal time. As we have miseries uncalled for, so we may have happiness also without being asked. For they are all predestined by Kala. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the result of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. Everyone here wants to lord it over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all-pervading, and therefore he can see everyone's activities. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, he is known also as the eternal time, Kala. 29. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and so are misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The Lord's mercy upon the fallen souls is equally distributed. He has no one as the specific object of hostility. The very conception of the personality of Godhead as a human being is misleading. His pastimes appear to be exactly like a human being's, but actually they are transcendental and without any tinge of material contamination. He is undoubtedly known as partial to his pure devotees, but in fact, he is never partial as much as the sun is never partial to anyone. By utilizing the sun rays, sometimes even the stones become valuable, whereas a blind man cannot see the sun, although there are enough sun rays before him. Darkness and light are two opposite conceptions, but this does not mean that the sun is partial in distributing its rays. Sun rays are open to everyone, but the capacities of the receptacles differ. Foolish people think that devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Factually, the pure devotees who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are not a mercantile community. A mercantile house renders service to someone in exchange for values. The pure devotee does not render service unto the Lord for such exchange, and therefore the full mercy of the Lord is open for him. Suffering men, needy men, inquisitive persons, or philosophers make temporary connections with the Lord to serve a particular purpose. When the purpose is served, there is no more relation with the Lord. A suffering man, if he is pious at all, prays to the Lord for his recovery. But as soon as the recovery is over, in most cases the suffering man no longer cares to keep any connection with the Lord. The mercy of the Lord is open for him, but he is reluctant to receive it. That is the difference between a pure devotee and a mixed devotee. Those who are completely against the service of the Lord are considered to be in abject darkness. Those who ask for the Lord's favor only at the time of necessity are partial recipients of the mercy of the Lord. And those who are cent% engaged in the service of the Lord are full recipients of the mercy of the Lord. Such partiality in receiving the Lord's mercy is relative to the recipient, and it is not due to the partiality of the all-merciful Lord. When the Lord descends to this material world by his all-merciful energy, he plays like a human being, and therefore it appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees only. But that is not a fact. Despite such apparent manifestation of partiality, his mercy is equally distributed. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all persons who died in the fight before the presence of the Lord got salvation without the necessary qualifications, because death before the presence of the Lord purifies the passing soul from the effects of all sins, and therefore the dying man gets a place somewhere in the transcendental abode. Somehow or other, if someone puts himself open in the sun rays, he is sure to get the requisite benefit both by heat and by ultraviolet rays. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Lord is never partial. It is wrong for the people in general to think of him as partial. Text 30. Of course, it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, and that you take birth, though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend amongst animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. Purport. The transcendental pastimes of the Lord are not only bewildering, but also apparently contradictory. In other words, they are all inconceivable to the limited thinking power of the human being. The Lord is the all-prevailing super-soul of all existence, and yet he appears in the form of a boar amongst the animals, in the form of a human being as Rama, Krishna, etc., in the form of a rishi like Narayana, and in the form of an aquatic like a fish. Yet it is said that he is unborn, and he has nothing to do. In the Shruti mantra, it is said that the Supreme Brahman has nothing to do. No one is equal to or greater than him. He has manifold energies, and everything is performed by him perfectly, by automatic knowledge, strength, and activity. All these statements prove without any question that the Lord's activities, forms, and deeds are all inconceivable to our limited thinking power, and because he is inconceivably powerful, everything is possible in him. Therefore, no one can calculate him exactly. Every action of the Lord is bewildering to the common man. He cannot be understood by the Vedic knowledge, but he can be easily understood by the pure devotees because they are intimately related with him. The devotees therefore know that although he appears amongst the animals, he is not an animal, nor a man, nor a rishi, nor a fish. He is eternally the Supreme Lord in all circumstances. I think that's appropriate.